Somebody didn't mute their browser.
No, it was my phone this time. Yeah, bizarre. Anyway, God, are we really doing this? Am I really here? Who was that old senator that had for 20 minutes or 20 seconds he went
Mitch
blank?
McConnell.
Yeah, he really, something happened to him, like one of those senior moments.
Wow.
And
Mini stroke?
it was, no, I don't think so. I think it was just a devastating loss of what he was talking about. Just
Brain death.
because your mind, yeah. No, it's just the opposite of that. It's too much stuff in his brain. Way too much stuff in his brain.
Too much evil gunking it up.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so this little picture here I have on the screen shows all of the wonderful videos that I have linked in my chat. And the one I want to talk about is there we go. Mitch O'Connell moment. Why believing in evolution is more dangerous than you think. And to me, spoiler, I think this whole video shows very clearly why creationists have no reason to believe in God. And they know it. They know they have absolutely no evidence.
I just watched this video earlier.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, that's
it was really bugging me. I was like, I might have to respond.
Yep.
Well, now you have an outlet. We're here for you.
You read my mind.
That's right. We're an outlet for people frustrated over the idiocy of creationism.
Well,
this one will hurt your head.
I think it's stark how he admits so many things in this video. But anyway, so we'll give it a play.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, AIG Canada. Ooh, it's exciting. I'm pretty excited.
It's Mr. Canadian Tuxedo.
I'm still excited. I'm really excited.
For many people like myself growing up, the story of evolution removed even the idea of God from the equation of life.
Oh, he's an ass.
Like others, I once concluded that if there was a naturalistic, scientific way to account for the universe and everything in it, then God was irrelevant.
Thank you. I think that's all we need to hear him say, right? He just admitted
That's a wrap.
That's a fucking wrap.
That's it.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Okay, we're ending the stream now. I'm going to shoot her in the head. Anyway.
And this atheistic mindset has led millions down a dark road.
Atheistic?
Pause it for a second.
Conclusion that God is not needed.
Yeah, for you, for a lot of people, for me, yeah, it makes God irrelevant, but also he may be irrelevant in terms of the formation of the universe and life on Earth and everything. But a lot of people believe in evolution and feel like God is relevant in their lives. It's not mutually exclusive. So,
right.
Who he's speaking to, I don't know, but he came to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah, and to my way of thinking, those people that can accept evolution and anything that science has to offer, and they still have faith, those people have much more faith than these bozos. These bozos are questioning their faith very seriously if they think that evolution makes it all irrelevant, right?
That's why I had to give credit to William Lane Craig. He repeatedly says, I don't buck up against mainstream scientists because they know better than he does.
Yep. Ooh, I didn't know Elon Musk is warning people about the danger of artificial consciousness.
And Elon Musk. At the same time, William Lane Craig is devout as they come.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I sent a message to Rebecca today, but she's not responding to me, basically. asking her similar
What?
questions
You want
about
me to try?
yeah, oh yeah, you're not going to get any further. We're her failed dunce students, right? We are her failures. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see what this guy says.
Was summed up well in the 2004 Australian Broadcasting Corporation series called Testing God.
Boy, I didn't know about that
The
one.
episode, Killing the Creator, states, "But why have we turned out the way we are? Once we believed we were unique, blessed with a soul and lovingly created by God in His image. Today, evolution says we're just a product of natural selection, the descendants of primitive bacteria, not the children of God."
Ooh, so okay, there you have it. Christians love to say that we are created in the image of God and we are like God, except they also love to say that we were a total fucking failure and God had to not only cause death and destruction in the Garden of Eden, but then he had to kill us once again in a flood, and he plans on killing us again in about 100 or 200 years, right?
Yeah,
So, I
this
mean,
is
like,
an equivocation on the idea of children of God. If we're children of God, we're beloved, and that, gosh, we must be safe in His hands. But no, if you're really going to be a child of God, you have to quote unquote be redeemed. So you are children of God, but you're not children of God, which is kind of a weird doublespeak.
So, can
The
any
Bible
of
says
you
God regretted the decision to make
Yeah.
us in its image. That's very
Ooh.
telling, I think.
Oh, it says that in the Bible?
God regretted making mankind, and so he
He
destroyed them.
repented that He had made mankind or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but did he regret making it in His image? Is he kind of saying that he's evil too? I don't know.
Depends
But-
how you put it together, I guess.
Yeah.
So I have a thought about that.
Yeah.
In Genesis, it says that when Adam and Eve became experientially aware of the difference between good and evil, and it meant, like, the knowledge of good and evil meant that they'd experienced both, right? It was experiential knowledge. And it also says that this made them like God, which means God has experiential knowledge of both good and evil, which means God has committed evil and has it within him.
Genesis 6:6-7. The Lord regretted making human beings on the earth, and his heart was grieved. So the Lord said, I will wipe out the earth from the human beings. Or I will wipe out the human beings from the earth.
So, do you see the contradiction here? They're saying, "Oh, we're just wonderful because we're the children of God and we're special," yet God told you that you're a fucking failure, and He's gonna kill you
Yeah.
at the same time. And it's like, but do you know what that sounds like? I don't know if any of you, you three can relate to this, but for me, now my dad felt that he created me, and for the first 16, 17 years of my life, he did nothing but berate me and tell me how I wasn't quite up to his image, that I was somehow lacking in the essential daddy juices that he wanted me to have, and that I had failed him miserably, right? So, I mean, so it's patriarchy. So it's just, the family structure. The father looks down on the child, and he's always trying to correct him, right? And when he's trying to correct him, he's kind of implying that you don't quite measure up, son.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
that hits you right in the like right in what most of us have gone through in our childhood. I don't care how functional your family was. Your father, every now and then, when he looked down upon you with disdain, and every fucking one of us knows that look, then you don't quite feel like you measure up. So this kind of hits you right in the family structure of Homo sapiens, And I think that's a really important part of their religion. But anyway.
And don't forget, Ken Ham gets giddy reminding everybody, next time it's by fire.
Oh yeah. Next time
The
it's gonna be
Yeah,
hot.
next
If
time
you
it's
thought the
nighttime.
flood was bad,
Ooh, it's gonna get hot.
you're gonna get yours.
Yeah, that's got to hit home for you, Scott, living down in Texas.
I
Because
say bring it on. He can't do anything worse to us.
yeah, wait till your air conditioner completely fails, and we'll see how
Well,
you.
that's true. That's
We'll
true.
see if you. We'll see if
I
you
think I'm going to
become
become
a
a
believer.
Christian all summer.
Worse yet, the day after I put the air conditioner in, we had a storm and power was out all afternoon. I was
Fuck.
sitting in there all stuffy, and I'm like, I was ready to open the house all back up. It's like,
Yep.
talk about getting crapped on.
Yeah. Well, you sinner, you deserve it. Okay.
Clearly, for many people, natural selection under an evolutionary mindset has been given godlike attributes as our creator, and quite possibly as the arbiter of our ethics and morality as well. Natural selection then
Oh, yeah. Like okay. Well,
replaces God and changes our ethics and morality also.
does it?
Just think it through. Carried to its logical end, the solution to an overabundance of bacteria is to wipe them out. And we've seen this solution applied generously throughout the 20th century.
Here
Yeah.
comes Godwin's law.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's coming up here. Let's see.
Stalin, Lenin, Mayo, Pol Pot, Hitler.
There it is.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is. Okay, so, so if you like, only in his fucking mind can you take evolution and natural selection and say, oh, we got to kill a whole bunch of humans, right?
And
I
you
mean,
can
only-
read Mein Kampf for free online.
Yeah.
And it says he believed different races were created that way by God, and he was doing God's work by getting rid of the less desirable ones.
Yep.
Nothing about embracing evolution. He was a creationist. He believed everything was made by God and there was a plan by God. And in God on Trial, they said, who's to say that old Dolphy didn't make a new covenant with Yahweh?
Yep. I've been ignoring chat. Hi, Top Dog. And Icarus was the first one here, and Kafai is here, and Look at the Trees is here, and Or Wooly, and Carol Kinzer, and I missed somebody. Who did I miss?
Hello.
Dominic Thomas.
Hello, trees. All hail Bigfoot.
All hail. Yeah.
Trees and I will be together Sunday evening.
Yeah. So what kind of a moronic, evil fuckhead reads about evolution and starts deciding that he's going to kill people? Okay, he goes on a little further here and explains what kind of moronic, evil fuckheads do it. But he's also one of those moronic, evil fuckheads because that's where his mind goes. He's saying that if he believes in evolution and he doesn't believe in the literal interpretation of the Bible, that he's going to be just like these guys, right? I mean, he has no barrier. That's what he's saying. He has no morality. Anybody agree with me there? My esteemed
Yeah.
panel? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. Okay.
All of these
Yeah.
leaders embraced evolutionary ideas and applied social Darwinism to their populations, culling millions of their own people whom they deemed inferior and expendable. Such a mindset has even slipped down into the consciousness of many of our children. Eric Harris, one of the perpetrators of the Columbine school massacre,
Yep.
said, "Sometime in April, me and V, that's Dylan Klebold, will get revenge and will kick natural
Klebold.
selection up a few notches." This ideology was reiterated by another high school shooter, Pekka Erik Avonen, in a YouTube video rant that he posted before his rampage. "I am a cynical existentialist, anti-human humanist, anti-social social Darwinist, realistic idealist, and godlike
Nutcake.
atheist.
Yeah.
Life is just a coincidence, result of long process of evolution. Human life is not sacred.
Okay. So here we go. You can't have morality without God. That's the only reason to have morality is if God tells you so. and God's telling you, motherfucker, that you're a stupid sinner and he's going to burn you in a couple of 100 years. So I don't see the reasoning here. Anyway.
Well, it's right back to what Scott said at the very beginning. They're setting up a false is it a false dichotomy or whatever it's called?
Yep.
I call it a straw man. It's a straw man, but they set up the us against them.
Yeah.
And it has to be one or the other, leaving out all the details in between and all the variables. And
Humans are
Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button because I'm looking for something. Oh yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay. Dave, I cut you off, Dave.
yeah, you're all right. Like I say, I was just basically agreeing with what Scott said at the beginning. He's just doing it again.
Yep.
I always knew you were a wise man, Dave. Always knew that.
Humans are just a species among other animals. Death is not a tragedy unless you're a human. Or, like even raccoons mourn their dead, for God's sake. I don't know.
Chimps mourn their dead. Elephants mourn their dead. What's the point he's trying to make?
I don't know. That if you're...
Sounds like he's making a false statement that because he lacks knowledge about the world.
Well, because he believes other animals it couldn't possibly have any developed morality at all. And so he believes humans are the only ones that should have morality, but don't because they don't believe in God. I don't know.
Well, animals are pretending to have morality so they can trick us.
They can trick it.
Because Satan put them up to it.
Yep. Yeah,
that would be the explanation. All right.
Yeah, and that's a nice segue to show. Where's Erica? Where's Erica? Erica's video on Homo naledi. She does a really good analysis of that whole Berger thing, and with skepticism, basically. But that's where they found out that, and basically an animal or a primate buried its dead and had art, but had like 30% of the brain size that we have. So anyway, that one's linked in the description too, and I have not watched it all, but she's doing a very good job of looking critically at Berger's Homo naledi. Anyway, segue. Okay.
Yeah.
just a species among other animals. Death is not a tragedy. Not all human lives are important or worth saving.
Oh, really?
Social Darwinism, consistently applied, has been detrimental to society on many levels. Even arch-atheist and staunch evolutionist Dr. Richard Dawkins has said as much, declaring, "I'm a passionate Darwinian when it comes to science, when it comes to explaining the world, but I'm a passionate anti-Darwinian when it comes to morality and politics."
Exactly. He spelled it out. It's not the same when you're using it like these people did or politicians did. It's not what happens in the natural world. That's
right.
It's not the same thing. He's saying it's not the same thing.
You can't learn a science fact and then apply it to, in some manner to everything in your life. It's just...
Well, you take climate change. Put climate change in politics, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that, no. The science says one thing, the politicians say usually something else.
By the way, since we're in the area of primates and morality and things like that, and an audiobook I'm listening to is The Bonobo and the Atheist, In Search of Humanism Among the Primates by Frans de Waal. And I put a link to the Amazon page there.
And it's already,
cool.
In the description already.
It's a really interesting book.
Yep.
One primatologist's take on the matter, but it's got some insightful things to say.
Yeah. I mean, how can you be a human and not have humanity built into the fact that you are a human? And that's kind of what he's saying, is that can't happen.
That's what I keep asking Matt Walsh.
Yeah, we need a God for that. We need something external to pull us around and flood us and kill us and burn us and fucking whatever the hell he wants to do with us. It's like, I don't know, these people grow up without parents or some fucking thing. They have no internal morality that they can identify without God. But I think that's the danger of preaching this shit to, to young kids, is that if they did abandon their faith, would they have anything, would they have, I mean, if they think that you do morality by reason alone, they can be dangerous individuals, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well,
Yeah, and
even
a lot of Christians have decided who matters and who gets to live and who gets to die. So he's not really. He's trying to make a case for his religion, but once again, if you know the world, if you know history, his Christianity is impotent to prevent meaningless deaths.
even sweet little Rebecca said if she didn't believe in God, there would be nothing stopping her from being a criminal and just doing what she wanted.
Kafai is still trying to convince us that Einstein was believed in God. Oh my goodness! Come on, Kafai. By the way, Kafai, I'm going 8 today. Going 8.
You're gonna convert.
No, I'm going 8. I think Kafai will understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, okay.
You're gonna see God.
I'm looking for God. Yeah, I'm looking for
join Godless Girl and
Yep.
Hoss.
Yep, all fine. I'm definitely going to be a Christian by tomorrow.
Who was calling him? Oh, BS was calling him Hoss, I think. That was great.
Yeah, that's what I call him too.
We're calling him too. Okay.
I have a history. I have a history with that guy. So
Okay,
Hoss.
that was the perfect name for him anyway.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Let's listen to more garbage.
Now, why would he say this? Well, obviously, as a highly educated individual, Dawkins is informed about and recognizes the negative effects of applying social Darwinism to a society.
Yeah, like we all
However,
do.
like many moral relativists, it seems Dawkins would like Christian morality piled on top of his materialistic cake. But the question that must be asked is, can the biblical mandate to do unto others and love thy neighbor be logically applied if the story of evolution is true and God is just a myth? If so,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
He's got easy ones today.
Next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even a challenge.
Yep. In fact, I was at a meeting last night that has to do with addiction, and that's what we talked about. It was, basically identifying this moral compass in ourselves and following it, and the results of not following it, and how it's played out in our lives. And it's very, very interesting how that works. If you go outside of that moral compass, not only do you feel it internally, and you feel just a little bit upset or displaced, but you also make your life really fucking complicated. Moral compass is a real good thing. I've strongly developed one without God. Until tonight, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, go ahead. We're going ahead.
certain people groups are more advanced than others, and God's moral law need not apply, under what logical premise can evolutionists argue for?
Wait a minute. Skeptic Haven? Was I supposed to be on yesterday? No, I think it's next week. Anyway, Skeptic Haven? I'm supposed to be on Skeptic Haven on August 2nd, Wednesday. That's when I'm supposed to be on Kafai.
Nice.
Right? I hope so. I hope I didn't fuck it up. That would be a bitch.
Or against morality? If thou shalt not kill applies to humans, the question now becomes, how human? And if we're simply evolved animals, how does morality apply at all? I've never heard anyone accuse a great white shark of being evil or a snake being a serial killer. Such terms apply only to humans.
No.
Because of what he just said. We're evolved in a certain way to be a social species.
Yeah. But there's a little more to it. Like when a great white shark eats a human, or when a coyote eats a child, or when a wolf eats a child, or when a snake basically bites one of us, I don't have any problem with calling that evil. I don't give a fuck if, oh, it's just an animal, it's evolved to do that. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to shoot it.
And there are
Right.
pythons that do consume humans.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
they can even snakes can even eat humans, just
Yeah.
a certain kind of
Well,
snake.
Wasn't the snake in Genesis evil? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on now.
Come
And we-
on.
And we team up
Come
as a
on.
social species because usually,
Come on.
most animals aren't bothering humans. But when you
Oh.
have these rogue ones that are attacking people, we gather up, we get a hunting party, and we go and we take that rogue one down because in many cases it's sick or old or something, and that's why it's attacking people, where the other ones are minding their own business.
Yeah, we're
Off
easy
in the
prey.
woods.
Can you believe that Kafai didn't have a wrench? And oh my God, look at the trees doesn't have a wrench.
Oh my goodness.
I have people on my
no.
channel that don't have a wrench.
The wrenchless masses.
The only
Uh-huh.
person on my channel that's not supposed to have a wrench is Otangelo.
Potential.
Okay, you got a wrench now, Kafai. Thank you. Oh, let's see here.
By the way, you cannot not apply morality to children unless you very specifically, very targetedly, raise him like in that movie with Jim Carrey and Ed Harris, the Truman Show or something. You're born into it. Number one, you have innate, senses of fairness and justice, but also you are trained up in the morality and compassion of the society around you. And so to say there's no logical basis for morality, fine, but you don't get morality through logic. You may examine it through logic and at a later time in your life adopt an adjusted form of morality, but you're steeped in it and it's part of you from the day that you breathe air in this world.
Yeah.
I just thought I would say that.
So
Well, I'm glad you said it because someone needed to.
Thank you.
shit, I think I was supposed to be on Skeptic Haven on Wednesday, July 27th. That's what he has it scheduled for.
Darn.
Oh, I don't know.
That was in the past.
That's in the past. I can't do anything about the past.
Well,
Well, they could have called you or something.
Well, he didn't send me he sent me a link a long time ago. Damn it. I hope I didn't screw this up.
just get a hold of him and let him know that you thought it was a different date for some reason, and maybe he'll reschedule, maybe not.
Oh,
Yeah, they'll reschedule.
hopefully.
Yeah, they will.
Because why did I think it was August 2nd? Why did I write that? Yeah, he said, I put you down for August 7th, 2nd at 7 p.m. But then if you look at the date on his video, he's got it as, he might have screwed the date up here. He has July 27th. Okay.
Yeah, they use a special calendar for that to book things with, and it's easy to accidentally put it in the wrong square.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he probably put it in the long one, so anyway. Okay. Hopefully I didn't fuck that up because
No, you're good.
that's good. Oh, I'm going to the Mayo Clinic on, when am I going? Monday for my cancer checkup to find out if my there's a song I love to play called "This'll Be the Day That Your Life Will Surely Change." And so on Friday next week, my life may change. We'll find out if the cancer's gone or not. Anyway. And if it's not, you know what? I'm going to have a good laugh.
My father-in-law called my wife to wish her happy birthday the other day and tell her that he's got bone cancer. They got to cut a chunk of his bone out somewhere.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's already fought off different other cancers, and he's had bypasses twice done, and now this. It's like the poor guy just
Yeah.
going
Well,
through it.
That's what fucking kills me. If they put you in a CT scanner like constantly, right? So you had a constant CT scan. Like a lot of us, 20% of us, eventually they would see a little tiny tumor growing and they would cut that tumor out and you'd be fine. You'd recover, right? It wouldn't metastasize. They'd catch it early. But they don't do that. They schedule you for these scans like every 3 or 4 years. And then oftentimes they will find it when the goddamn tumor's the size of an apricot. And then you're fucked, right? How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the technology to early detect cancer, but the health insurance and the medical community says, oh, no, you don't need a colonoscopy. Every 5 years is fine because it wasn't that serious last time. And then you read about somebody like Roland Griffiths from, he's the famous, Kafai knows him, the psilocybin researcher from Johns Hopkins. Well, he was scheduled every 5 years for his colonoscopy. And I think on the third or the fourth year, he found out he had a fucking fatal tumor and he's going to die. And I think they gave him till this October to live. And it's just like, how do you deal with that?
Right.
It's like we know that that basically medicine could save us, but they're telling us, oh no, it's probability. Don't worry, roll the dice. Fuck you, roll the dice.
Right.
Yeah, fuck you. It's you're talking about me dying here, you motherfuckers. I don't know. Anyway.
Yes.
And if
Well,
he
one,
gets sick,
one
they
way
won't pay.
to
They
not
won't
die
pay
of
for the
cancer.
expensive drugs.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I was just saying they won't pay for the expensive stuff when you get sick then either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, then they're like, oh shit, you cost too much. No, we don't want to save you. It's like, fuck.
Well, just don't go to the doctor, and you won't get a diagnosis you don't like.
There you go.
I mean, that's my strategy now because I can't. I don't have insurance, and I can't afford my doctor.
Yeah. I'm gonna suggest that may not be the best strategy, Scott, but
Mine kept telling me there's nothing wrong with me, but they can't figure out why my hands mess up on me. They tried this, took pictures, everything. And it's like, oh well, you seem to be okay, and it's like,
yeah.
That's one of those times where it's like you can't tell me what's wrong with me. So
Yeah, my sister's going through that with her back. She thinks she injured her back. And they said, oh, we can get you in for a scan in October, but she can't walk. I mean, she can't walk to the fucking bathroom, and it's like...
They did the blood work. I don't have rheumatoids, and they took pictures, and there's no inflammation, there's no sign of arthritis or nothing, but man, the more I use my hands, they just swell up and become useless.
Wow. Yeah, my friend's going through something like that too, where every now and then her legs just seem to want to go out on her, and they're not, and they can't find anything, and they're like, oh well, we can't find anything.
You know how you feel first thing in the morning where you like don't have any strength,
right?
You know what I mean, and your hands are kind of dumb. They don't do what you want. That's how mine feel at the end of the day if I'm working them hard.
Yeah, what you got to do is you got to go in there and you got to like grab your doctor by the ears and hold his fucking nose right down on the problem and say, something's wrong.
Well, he's actually a good guy. He listens to me and everything. I like my doctor, but it's just one of those mysteries. They keep trying this and that, try this pill, that pill, and nothing works. So.
Yeah, so Roland Griffiths was studying psilocybin, and he decided to start using psilocybin to deal with the fact that he's going to die. And he had worked with other patients, and he decided to take that route. I mean, can you imagine doing mushrooms knowing that you're going to die? It's like, kind of a bit.
Could be a bad trip.
Could be a bad trip, but I think what he said that he found is he laughs about it when he's talking about his cancer and his imminent demise. He makes jokes about it, and it's like
don't watch all that jazz and trip. My wife turned it off because I couldn't stop crying.
Oh, really?
All that jazz?
Yeah, when he has the second heart attack,
at
the tears.
that
the
musical,
tears were just flowing, and he's like, not again. And it's like, I just felt so bad for him. For some reason, I was Niagara Falls.
Well, I really like that movie, but I was
do
much
too.
younger when I first saw it.
Hey, guess what?
Watch it sober. You'll
I
enjoy it better.
I have a channel announcement. The Department of Sociology at Santa Clara University is going to be interviewing me for having a YouTube channel on atheism as
Cool.
part of their study. Of course, they're not going to make anything public, but anyway, we're going to be part of an atheism study. They're going to find out why us atheists just want to hate on people.
Oh, really? Is that the title of it?
I have an award.
Project? Why do
I have an
atheists
award.
hate?
Nobody got a hold of me. I've got an award.
You got Atheist of the Month award. But you also got fucking banned on one and the same channel, which doesn't.
I think that's a great accomplishment. He needs to get an award from the atheists for being the first banned atheist of the month.
First banned atheist.
I'm Atheist of the Month, and I got emailed explaining what a troll I am.
First banned atheist of the month. That's your title.
I need to frame that too.
Pretty cool. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back and listen to this guy for a minute.
Calvin. And I didn't mean to insult anybody in Canada when I said Canadian tuxedo, but I mean, this guy wears the
worst.
goofiest suits. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, every time it's just like, where does he get his clothes?
Yeah. Well, what is this guy's name again? Kelvin Smith.
Calvin Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Calvin Brown. Calvin Smith. Okay.
He runs the Canada branch.
Oh, he's a dildo. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Canadians, they get a lot of
He's
shit.
a dummy head. We'll
Yes, they
say
should.
he's a dummy head.
Well, their jaws don't work. We've seen that on South Park about how their jaws are different in Canada.
The office is a lot smaller up there, I think.
Yeah. Here we go. Hashtag first banned atheists of the month. There you go.
That's
That's your title.
I'm king.
Look at the trees just wants to sin. Because he's morally flexible.
He's looked at all the trees and
Yeah.
he's still, looking at the trees. So
Yeah. Met a girl once and she led with I'm flexible. So I don't know what that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
Unfortunately, belief in evolution has crept into the Christian church over the last century as well.
Ooh, here we go.
And most Christian seminaries and Bible colleges today accept large parts of the evolutionary story, while some have outright declared themselves theistic evolutionists, i.e., God used evolution to create. Such compromise has caused much damage to the gospel message, as atheists have highlighted the inconsistency of such an approach. An example comes from Frank Zindler in a debate against Christian William Lane Craig, who himself now accepts theistic evolution. The most devastating thing, though, that biology did to Christianity was the discovery of biological evolution. Now that we know that Adam and Eve never were real people, the central myth of Christianity is destroyed. If there never was an Adam and Eve, there never was an original sin. If there never was an original sin, there's no need of salvation. If there's no need of salvation, there is no need of a savior.
Yeah.
if there was never really a talking snake, it means something else. And if there wasn't actually a global flood, it means something else.
Also, if why isn't it called Adamanity rather than Christianity if the Adam and Eve story are the central myth of Christianity? Seems like we're calling it Adam and Eve
And why can't God use evolution?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're saying God couldn't have used evolution. It's like, well, then if I'm going to play devil's advocate, I'm going to say, well, my God can do anything.
Now, if I were a Christian, okay, I would be a humble Christian, and I would say, I am not God, and I don't know how God did it. And if science is telling me this is how things that happened, I have no reason not to accept that. It has nothing to do with my understanding that there is a God, right?
Well
So I
said.
mean, if I have faith, if I have deep faith, basically in the words of the Bible and the message of the Bible, I can look at it and say, well, I guess I'm gonna have to reread it. Maybe I was wrong about the Earth being created in 6 days, and then I'll say, oh, so they were talking about something else, something deeper, something more meaningful than the fucking creation story or than a snake in a garden. They were pointing with a metaphor, with an analogy, to something about the human condition. And I go on having faith in God without having to reject anything from modern science. And that's what I mean by these people don't really have faith. They have no faith in the God that they talk about. They have no reason to believe in it unless they can believe in this fucking weird Santa Claus like fairy tale of Genesis. You know, that they're taking it literally. What the fuck is wrong with them? I mean, you can see that they lack faith.
Genesis is supposed to be like an overview of creation.
Yeah.
It's like when you're writing something and you do an outline. You say, okay, God made everything, and then under that would be, okay, then the scientists figure it out. So there's no problem believing and accepting science. It's again right back to Mr. Scott Duke there. It's just they just keep setting up a bad argument. It's the one or the other, leaving out all the other options.
Yeah. Yeah, even if atheism or if evolution was shown to be false, it'd be like, okay, well, something else happened. We don't know what.
Now,
Doesn't
see,
mean
that's in my
doesn't-
little shorty video about the Ahmed the other day. Ahmed says that. He says what you have to accept is if it's not evolution, we're right.
Yeah,
He said that word for word. Yep, Trees is right.
okay. Kafai says these people are fundamentalists. They have a literal interpretation when all early church fathers, Christian theologians, philosophers, mystics, etc., never interpreted the Edenic myth literally. And of course you wouldn't. I mean, my God, why would you? It means something much deeper. Like when they're talking about, the story I like is the eating from the tree of knowledge. Basically, was the point where man suddenly developed some sort of a mind where we could understand our own demise. And all of a sudden we knew that we were going to die, and that was the point where something that was the point where death became real for us. For raccoons, death is not a thing that they sit around and think about, right?
Well, for me, the Garden of Eden for story was always the comparison of going from hunter gatherer to settling down. And once
Yeah.
you settle down as a society, you can never go back.
Yep. Yeah, and it leads to all sorts of other problems that they have to deal with, that you have to deal with, and moral problems and social problems. And basically, it's the story of mankind.
And what are the next books in the Bible? All the rules and the laws. It follows. Yeah, we didn't just run around collecting, fruit or whatever. We had to start working together. And when we started having to work together, we had to set up rules and laws, even if they were dumb or vicious or brutal. That was what they set up.
Yeah. Joseph Campbell thought the apple or the fruit, because we don't know for sure it was an apple, symbolized higher forms of consciousness. And so did Ellen Watts. Ellen Watts talks about that, I think, in Beyond Theology, about that idea that I have, the biblical interpretation. And if this was a text that, ancient people wrote where they, basically metaphorically put forth their wisdom and knowledge, I wouldn't have a problem with that book.
And that's what they did. But yeah. But no, it's literal because it's from God. And it's like, well, God didn't write it. Well, God inspired it. And it's like, aha, there again, God, if God inspired it, it's how they wrote it down.
Yeah.
to their understanding, and so how people would understand it. And again, it's not literal, it's an understanding of. Yeah.
Yep.
But that makes too much sense. Snakes talk, and donkeys talk, and bushes talk, and all kind of other things talk.
Okay, let's hear some more
Do
garbage.
enough mushrooms and enough things will talk to you, I guess.
I can attest to that. Okay.
And I submit
Or your cat will turn into a pretzel. True story.
that puts Jesus, historical or otherwise, into the ranks of the unemployed. Believers can rightly deem Zindler's conclusions as blasphemous, but certainly not illogical from his atheistic vantage point. After all, if the first Adam never existed, why do we need a last Adam? Why did the Apostle Paul teach the concept of death in Adam, but life in Christ in Romans 5:12?
Well, because he's a lot fucking smarter than you are, apparently. That's,
He's speaking theologically, though.
yeah.
That's theological speak. And Paul's not claiming to be a scientist.
Yep. Doofus. That's what I call this guy. Doofus.
Paul was also celibate.
Therefore-
so a lot of, you got to take a lot of things he says with a grain of salt, because he was probably grumpy a lot.
Oh, yeah, he was grumpy. No doubt about it. Yeah. He got burnt by a bush, didn't he? Or something? Was he the burning bush guy? Paul?
He saw a vision on the road to
no.
Damascus, fell off his horse, got talked to by Jesus, I guess, and went blind. He had to go with somebody to get unblind, and then he became the Apostle Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's a burning bush guy? Where does
Moses. Come
that was
on.
Moses? Oh, okay.
I was going to say it's Moses or Abraham or something. That's old.
That's Charlton Heston and everything. You should know that.
I don't know your Christian fairy tales. I'm sorry.
All I know is the burning bush comes from the actual. There's a plant that oozes resin that can catch on fire. So it actually has a natural explanation of why they would have a story about a burning bush.
Have you ever seen?
That can burn.
Have you ever seen a willow bush? Like in the spring, a willow on shrooms. It looks like a burning bush. Or if you're say if you're walking through the desert for a couple days and you get a little dehydrated and you happen upon a willow, which also means you're going to get some water real soon, you might see a burning bush. I don't know.
I did watch the grass grow.
Oh yeah. You can hear the grass grow.
You're sitting there and you're like, man, the grass is growing.
Squeak. Yeah, so my uncle, when I was a little kid, told me that you could hear corn grow. And I was I was about 36 years old, walking through a cornfield after a rainfall. And I found out my uncle was right. You can actually hear fucking corn grow. There was this squeaking noise everywhere. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And it's the sheaves slipping as the cells are dividing and the corn is pushing out. My uncle was right. And I didn't believe him when I was a kid. I was full of shit.
I mean, that's the atheist interpretation of that.
Oh, yeah.
The cornfields are haunted by demons. Everybody knows
Right.
that, right? That's the noise.
Mr.
Corn is growing. Clearly, it's demons.
Yeah, didn't you see Children of the Corn?
Yeah,
it was all demons. It's
demon children.
Demons.
Demon children, man, they're the worst kind. Why are demon children scarier than adult demons?
Those red eyeballs.
I think so.
How come atheists don't get possessed?
Yeah.
One question is: Children of the Corn, does it hold up? Is it rewatchable this late in the 21st century?
I don't know. I thought it was terrible the first time I watched it. So
Randolph's here. How about
Good old
that?
Randolph.
You haven't been here for a while.
some movies you just got to watch because everybody says you got to watch it. And then you're like, well, why did I have to watch that? I thought it was terrible.
Fuck, we got 4 minutes of this left. I wonder how much of it is going to be selling us stuff at the end.
If you like horror or classic horror movies, then yes, then you want to watch Children of the Corn. So.
Yep.
Just as sin came into the world through one man and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sinned. Can Christians rightly reconcile the loving God of the Bible as using billions of years of death and disease and struggle for survival in an
Yes.
evolutionary scenario, culminating in a process where ape-like creatures eventually morphed into humans who are somehow created in the image of God?
Yes.
Wouldn't that mean that God had used all of the results of Adam's sin, death and suffering, as his creative method before Adam even existed, metaphorically or not?
Yep.
Wouldn't that violate the Holy Scriptures, let alone necessitate disregarding the first 11 chapters of the Bible, the
Nope.
seedbed of all Christian doctrines, or consider it as mythology? As the Darwin historian and Bible
If he had a fucking brain, he could, he could think of a lot of ways that this all works, right? I mean, I'm an atheist and I can figure out how fucking Christianity ought to work. Jesus
And
Christ.
mythology is not meaningless.
No.
There's usually something behind the story.
Right.
Yeah, there's something that reflects the human condition. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily prescribe it. It just kind of reflects it.
Yeah,
And
like
there's things about like evading responsibility. I've had preachers preach about that, how Adam tried to, put responsibility off onto Eve when confronted, and aren't humans like that in general, where many times when we're confronted with our own shortcomings, we'll try to make it somebody else's fault. Boom, there's a mythic lesson right there. And it has value.
I always liked Aesop's Fables. I bought my son a hardcover version just because. I said, "Here, you should read these," because there's a lot of good lessons in there.
Yeah, learn what you
And
can from ancient texts.
And it's a bunch of animals and
Yeah.
people talking to animals and all that. And you're not supposed to really believe those animals are talking or anything. You
Never
take
thought
away
they did. Yeah.
what the story tells you, like the fox and the grapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, the boy who cried wolf. When
Boy
my
who cried
kids
wolf. Yeah.
when my kids were 3 years old, they thought there was a dragon named Diggy, or two dragons, one named Diggy and one named Tooth. And Diggy was a nice dragon, and Tooth was he would eat them if they went down the basement. And it kept my kids away from the basement stairs.
Oh, the puppy, by the way, was licking his face all funny, and I'm like, what you got going there? And one of his tiny little front teeth was pointing all funny. Not one of the fangs yet, the dangerous ones, but it's begun. He lost a little tooth.
Oh, huh. Okay, so we got a little bit left.
I'm tired of getting blooded.
Yeah.
skeptic Peter Bowler rightly concluded, if Christians accepted that humanity was the product of evolution, even assuming the process could have been seen as the expression of the Creator's will, then the whole idea of original sin would have to be reinterpreted. Far from falling from an original state of grace in the Garden of Eden, we have risen gradually from our animal origins. And if there was no sin from which we needed salvation, what was the purpose of Christ's agony on the cross? How can Christian laypeople not see how damaging it is to syncretize Christian theology with evolution, while atheists can understand and communicate it so succinctly? And yet, professing Christian influencers such as Ian Barber, who is the winner of numerous accolades in science and faith, including the 1999 Templeton Award, have proposed adopting the same theological outlook as non-believers. You simply can't say any longer, as traditional Christians, that death was God's punishment for sin. Death was around long before human beings. Death is a necessary aspect of an evolutionary world. One generation has to die for new generations to come into being. In a way, it's more satisfying than to see it as a sort of arbitrary punishment that God imposed on our primeval paradise.
There you go. That's pretty good, right?
And Jesus was killed for sedition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't really ever argue for why his version of Christianity should survive. Why shouldn't it be destroyed?
Yeah.
Jesus was killed for taking a knee.
For what?
For taking a knee.
Yeah.
If you get my reference.
Yep.
But if you do that today, it's like, wait a minute.
Yep.
That Jesus fella, turning over the tables and never mind.
Let's see. Okay.
Hello, Randolph.
Yeah, I thought this guy was pretty. That was a real thoughtful comment. It's basically that it was more appealing than the literal interpretation. So
Did
anyway,
Jefferson Spatchcock was just covering your little discussion there, Randolph, with Darth Dawkins.
ooh, I'll check that out next. Okay.
It's as atheist William Provine once commented, one can have a religious view that's compatible with evolution, only if the religious view is indistinguishable from atheism. Unfortunately,
Now that's an interesting comment because there is a bridge between like strict naturalism and atheism and belief in a deity. And I'm not going to get into it now, but it's an interesting bridge. But if you go back far enough and you keep working on that philosophy, it becomes one and the same as just having faith without belief. And it's kind of cool. So
a large swath of the Christian church has become similar to the circus sideshows of the past, exhibiting
Oh
a
my God.
depiction of the human race that's a caricature
So
of
he's
its
got
true
clips from the movie Freaks, I think it was, wasn't it?
biblical description. An entertaining spectacle featuring a sort of ape-man human hybrid, clothed in quasi-religious trappings perhaps, but one that doesn't accurately reflect either the first or the last Adam's true purpose. All is the result of imbibing humanistic evolutionary philosophies instead of holding fast to the authority of God's word from the very first verse.
There we go.
You know, Greg Locke literally preaches in a circus tent, right?
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, circus tents were pretty much the norm in the 19th and early 20th century for tent revivals and things like that.
Yep. So the other things that I've linked in the description are examining origins. Rebecca, again, her and Sell are going on about Lenski's experiment. Lenski's experiment is, and it's really cool because Sell, who's a total idiot when it comes to evolution, actually says in this video, he says something like, Lenski could have evolved his citrate metabolism a lot faster if he had listened to blah, blah, blah. But as if Lenski was trying to evolve something. And it just goes on. There's that. Also, this...
Oh, and I think that was the one Andrew was on it. Did you notice that?
Oh,
He was all over the chat with that Sal thing. So
he hasn't been banned yet?
apparently not. And
Oh,
she
no.
even,
Yeah,
and
not on Rebecca's.
I think she even commented to him.
Okay. So anyway, this Elijah Miller, she has a website, and I've linked 3 of her videos. And for some reason, I got the impression she might be a Republican, but she is like fucking great. And she goes through the history of the conservative movement and these fundamentalists and theocracy and this absolute, like, book bans are fascist. She's going on about why are conservatives so obsessed with trans kids, and she does a really good historical fucking lead up to this, and she explains that somehow, gay has become okay now because we've lived with it for long enough. Now they're going after another little tiny group of people for no fucking reason at all, and she explains why that is and how the religious right ruined everything. And she talks about how the religious right with Nixon and everything got involved in the Republican Party. And she is just great. And it's pretty cool. And then there's Erica, who did that video that is linked in the description on Berger. Oh, and then we have a whole bunch of shit. I link these things, and we ought to go over these at some point. But anyway. Oh, you need a pop. Okay. I can give you a pop. Come over here. Pop you. Pop you. Okay. Answers in Genesis, the trans movement just got way worse. Did we cover this one the other day, or is this a different one? I mean...
Did you see Carol's note that you've still got the Cerberus's main account blocked?
What?
Yeah, Cerberus Hex.
Why would I block Cerberus?
I don't know. Maybe somebody else did.
What the fuck? I never blocked Cerberus.
We'll see if he's in a blocked status and unblock him if he is.
I'll check it out. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, this is one we had to cover. The transmute movement just got way worse. They go on about CDC releases guidance for males who want to breastfeed. And it's really cool in here. They say, God didn't design male breasts to feed children. It's like, well, what the fuck did he give us tits for? Really? I mean,
And the fact that you can can't you still give like men certain hormones and they'll lactate?
yeah, that's, yeah. And
So-
it's like, okay, if God didn't design
Some
males.
men just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, if God didn't design males to do this, why did he give us nipples, you idiots?
Oh, I didn't know that. I could be saving a ton of money on my dairy every
You
month. if I
could.
Just take the real
Why,
hormones.
why did Adam and
Yeah.
Eve have belly buttons?
Yep. 40% of Brown University students are there something, I don't know. Birds may divorce due to
Oh, I saw this
promiscuity.
one too. Oh man.
Yeah, we got
This
to
is-
cover this one.
This is like a nightmare, Mike.
Oh, it's like a
They're
repeating
coming back,
nightmare?
they're coming back to haunt me.
Coming back on it, yeah. That was 10 days
Well, it's-
ago.
It's good to know I'm not the only one watching this garbage. So.
Yeah. Why radioactive dating cannot be trusted. That's a brilliant one.
The Andrew Snelling one.
Yeah. Then we got
Yeah,
some.
I got about halfway through that and I couldn't take it anymore.
And then we got this guy again from
It was
Answers.
terrible.
In Genesis. This guy from Answers in Genesis. What the hell's his name?
Martin
new-
lies.
Yeah,
Oh.
Lies. Martin Lies.
Oh,
Let's see what he has.
this
to say.
And there are
guy.
some people who do mess around with stuff that actually has bad in it because they say, oh no, well, I'm sanctified as a Christian and there's good in this, so we'll play with it. I once heard a story. There's a group of people and they live near a processing plant of some kind for jewelry. And so in the wastewater, tiny, tiny flecks of gold and silver come out in the wastewater. And so these people who are in desperate condition, their whole life is about digging or diving down into the wastewater system to find flecks of gold and silver. And they're looking for the gold and they're wallowing around in sewage. Well, when they go home, they stink like sewage.
And they have gold.
There's always a trade-off.
Gold owners.
Okay.
There's always a
Like-
trade-off.
They don't go down there because it stinks. They go down there because there's gold down there. You fucking idiot. And his whole point is you can't find the bad in, you
Work
can't
on-
find the good in bad things. And it's like,
Work on diesels all day and guess what you smell like when you come home?
yep.
But pearl divers go in the ocean and dig and bring up pearls,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yep.
Oh, we have people that work in the sewers for a living. I mean,
Yeah.
and
This-
septic tank pumper outers and
Yeah. So basically, people who work for the water department are evil.
No, this unique fact confirms
Find
Genesis
it in my
1.
brand new textbook.
Oh,
An
her
Intro
brand
to
new
Forensic
textbook
Science
from a biblical worldview.
Did you know that we can find
not her. Oh, she's terrible too.
determine its origin? You know, God created unique patterns in hair and animal fur. And under the microscope, these patterns are visible. What's even more fascinating is that we can determine the origin by these patterns and see
Were
that
you
it
there?
directly confirms
Yeah.
what we read in Genesis chapter
It
1.
directly
in Genesis
confirms
chapter
that.
1, God says 10 times that he created animals according to their kind. And microscopically, that's exactly what we see.
Oh my God! What who the fuck? She wrote a textbook.
She's a forensics lady
Oh my
working
God!
for Ken Ham, who says, "Were you there?"
Oh my God! Yeah, right.
Do
Were
you
you
see
there?
the problem?
Yeah,
she
I see the
figures
problem.
out things when no one was there.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
she. That's what she figures out.
It does.
And then she goes right and works for Ken Ham and says, blah, 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 blah. When they say, "Were you there?" That's one of his all-time catchphrases. The irony is just mind-blowing.
Yep.
I think it's irony.
Yeah, we got another one here. Another short. Let's see. Christians cannot
Correct me if
reject
it's
this.
not irony.
Christians cannot. Oh, you can't see these. That's right. What do I have to do? I have to do Chrome all for these. I think. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
laid down most of the rock layers and fossils. And you instead believe the secular idea that those rock layers and fossils were laid down over millions of years before man ever existed, and thus before sin.
Ooh.
We find in that fossil record things like brain tumors, diseases, cancer, arthritis. But wait, the Bible says God looked down on day 6 before man sinned and called everything very good. Surely he would not call millions of years of death and suffering and bloodshed and cancer very good. If there's death before sin, then death is not the consequence or the payment for sin. It's just always been around. Part of God's original very good creation. And if death is not the payment for sin, then Jesus' death cannot pay for our sin debt. And we are all still lost in our sins and bound for hell. And we just destroyed the foundation for the gospel, whether we meant to or not. And
Whatever.
Brian.
So
Brian
many
is
things
terrible.
there.
He's the law of biogenesis guy. He loves the law of biogenesis law, and it's like,
The law of oh my God, yeah. Okay. Yep. Anyway, so this is oh God, they found a contradiction, but then if you think about a world in which there is no death, nothing eating anything else except plants, and like some microorganisms are plants and things eat them, but there are other microorganisms that are what? Animals? I don't understand where they're coming from.
and where's the death definition? Because if you eat a plant, it's usually dead,
Right.
unless it has a real strong, root system and it can grow back again. I mean,
Yep. I got a
If you
big
eat
bowl of cooked carrots sitting over here. They ain't gonna grow.
and I mean eat it like a feral hog, where they dig it up and they eat the whole thing. It's gone. It's gone.
I often eat things like a feral hog. Anyway, so that one's in the description, and then the only other thing I linked in the description is I linked 2 Scottish singers, David Gray and Edwyn Collins, and they are both great singers, and you should listen to their songs. One is called Babylon, and Babylon touches me very deeply because it's I'm in a spot where I'm reviewing my entire life, love lost, love fucked up, basically. And this song gets to me. And Edwyn Collins has a song called A Girl Like You, which is also very worth watching. Edwyn Collins is the Scottish singer that had a stroke. I keep mistaking David Gray for the one that had a stroke. But anyway, so I'll link those in the description for good songs people should listen to and know about. Scott apparently didn't know about either of these guys, right, Scott?
That's right. I'm a barbarian.
Barbarian from Texas. That's
I'm relating to Aerosmith with all the lines in my face.
Yeah, we lost Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Not only that, but yesterday, me and I think Icarus, or who was it, was going off on the Eagles about how bad they are. And
yeah,
the lead singer died as a result of our curse. Yesterday, I think, of the Eagles. I don't know if you guys knew that, but
I didn't hear that one. No.
and one of the Eagles died yesterday.
Yep.
Which one?
The lead singer. What the hell's his name?
Is that Don?
Oh, it's the Eagles. I'm pretty sure it was the Eagles, yeah. Randy Meisner, Eagles co-founder and country rock pioneer, dies at 77.
Okay.
Well, how sad.
Yeah, and that just shows you don't fuck with me.
No, it was Randy Meisner, Carol.
Sinead was as old as me.
No. Fogarty is Creedence Clearwater. Anyway.
Okay.
Was Fogarty in the Eagles originally? No.
I'm unaware of that, but
I wouldn't be aware of that.
I'm not a big specific follower of music or musicians.
Yeah. Ooh, so here's a great song from Randolph. Another Rivers of Babylon. Let's see what that one is, Randolph. No, I don't know. Well, we're going to get a copyright strike. I'll
Sounds
listen to it
interesting.
after. Yeah, I don't want to get struck. We don't want to get struck. We're shooting her in the head here pretty quick. Everybody agree with that
Be thunderstruck.
possibility? Everybody want to shoot her in the head?
We can shoot her in the head and safely say we have streamed.
We have streamed. We have
We
streamed
have
2 days.
streamed with a great side chat full of engaging people that I find very interesting and very witty as well.
Yes.
Although, where has Nerdy Rodent been the last couple of days?
Oh no.
Is it too late at night, even for him?
Maybe.
Yeah, I just saw Nerdy on another chat somewhere.
Speaking of nerdy rodents, for 3 days in a row now, my cats have killed 2 mice every night. And
Hopefully, they
Snack,
weren't the nerdy kind.
well, Loki and Thor bring the mice in and they let them go. Snack kills them.
Because he's just a young man. He hasn't seen enough death. I think
No.
Thor and Loki probably have just seen too much.
They probably have, yeah.
I had a mole out front, and I got one out. Well, I got one out front. I can't catch. I had one out back too. And my dog, my older dog, he was just looking all of a sudden, and he just dig real quick and pulled that mole right up out the ground. And I was
No
like,
shit.
thank you, buddy.
Yeah, their ears could probably hear it.
Yeah,
He was just looking funny, and he just started digging real quick. He knew exactly where it was. He snagged it. So.
what I love is seeing videos of a fox and their ears go up and they're in the snow and all of a sudden they jump and they pull up a mouse.
That was almost exactly what my lab did.
Yeah.
If a 70-pound lab was able, that's what he did.
So thank you everybody for tuning in. I should always say that. Thank you guys in the chat. This is why we do it. We do it because you guys show up.
Yeah, I think Randolph was covering that himself with Darth. If not, that somebody else was, and then I saw Jefferson covering it too. So yeah, that was a real popular little chat that he had with. And man, he was just so unkind to Randolph, and
I know.
Randolph was just overly trying to just talk to him at all, and it was just
I have to go watch that.
You got to go watch it. Go watch it.
Okay, guys, we're going to shoot her in the head.
Shoot her in the head. Goodbye, everybody.
Talk
Say
to you
bye,
later,
everybody.
gentlemen.
See ya.
Hang on, guys, for a while. So.